So it's 3 weeks past my dissertation defense, and I'm ready to reflect. My defense went really well. I defended on January 16th. It was a Tuesday. It was in the afternoon. I took the day off internship, so I didn't have to scramble to do work in the morning and then defend and then go back to work. That was ridiculous. That would have been ridiculous, but I got a lot of advice from people that it was like, take the full day off. Don't try to do everything at once. And so I was like, okay, I won't. I invited some family and friends, and they were there to watch it, and it was really nice. And I think I probably spent about 35 minutes on my presentation, and then I feel like we spent forever on the discussion and just kind of everything after that. Um, but it was not as scary as I thought it would be. I think I was kind of just rushing through it to make sure I finished everything and caught everything. But then the discussion at the end and the questions from my committee were actually really nice in that they were kind of just reflections from the committee. They were like, I'm just interested, or I'm curious about your perspective on, and da da da. And I didn't feel unprepared for anything they asked me. And nothing they really asked me was about changes to the actual dissertation itself. It was more about just oh, what do you think would have happened if this, or da da da, which I think are typical defense questions. But I have also seen defenses where they've gotten questions out of left field. So I was kind of prepared for that. But luckily it didn't happen. So I did it. And then I kind of sat on my couch and was like, okay, did it. That was it. And that was it. It was a little anticlimactic. It after the fact, it kind of felt like, oh, I just finished another presentation for class, which is ridiculous when you think about how much time we spend writing these things, and then your defense day is pretty much just you giving a presentation. But it is nice that I have it over with, and I can just focus on finishing internship and my next steps. So I think something I would advise, like I was told, is to take the day off from work or whatever you're doing if you're not on internship and you're defending before that. I wouldn't do anything else the rest of that day. I think that day your brain can be clear. I think the only thing I did that day was I participated in my internships interviews for prospective interns. So it was literally 30 minutes, and I just sat there and answered questions people had about my internship site. That was it, and it was in the morning, and I felt like that was a good way for me to just kind of take my mind off the fact that I was defending 2 hours after that. So that was nice. I also presented virtually. I may make the video public. I'm not sure. Right now it's private, and you can only see it if you have the link. I presented virtually, which is great because then I didn't have to fly back to Michigan to do it in person. It did take some of the celebration out of it because I was just done, and I logged out of a meeting, and then I called my parents after, and that was it. So I don't know, it makes it a little harder to celebrate if the people who are there, or if you invite people, they're not actually there with you unless they are in the room with you. None of my family or friends, none of my family lives in New Orleans or even close to it. And I didn't ask anybody to physically be here to watch me present. So it's something to think about. But otherwise, it happened, it's over. Right now, I kind of stepped away from it for a couple weeks because I just, I did it. And now I'm kind of in the edits round. A lot of the edits that I got, or suggestions rather, from my committee was very much take it or leave it. It's great as written, which anyway, feels good for people to say. But I'm just doing some small edits that I think would make it a little stronger in the way that I'm framing some of the stuff. But it's nothing too tedious. So I'm hoping that by the end of February, and by hoping, I mean I will have submitted at least my first submission to ProQuest to just like check off my hair. But yeah, moving onwards and upwards, just gonna keep it moving, and keep chugging along. So that's it. The dissertation portion is pretty much done, and I'm moving on. The last thing I have to do is this internship, and like that's happening. I'm not doing that. So very happy to be in this place right now. Feel like I can always just like come home and do nothing. Just so nope. Anyway, gonna go. I'll have a postdoc update at some point. I mean, I have an update, but I'll share with y'all later.